I think we needed a reset. I think we've just been go for so long now that there is value in like taking a step back and kind of collecting ourselves and getting some perspective and grounding and then coming back together.
Love makes the heart grow fonder.
Distance makes the heart grow fonder. You're close.
Love also
yes,
makes
it
the
does.
heart distance makes the heart
Yes,
grow
it does.
fonder. Yes,
They both work.
they both did. We had a little bit of a fight this week, and it was about
Or whatever.
May I finish first?
Sorry, yes.
Okay.
Like once I've hit that like overstimulated, dysregulated place, the rest of my day is shot.
We did a yes day for the kids.
Yes, the yes day.
The yes day.
A dopamine-fueled extravaganza.
Yes.
I feel very passionately about it. Yes. High five. Yes, good boy. Sit.
All right.
High energy.
You lead the introduction.
Odie's gonna lead the introduction.
You be the leader.
You be the leader.
Do it.
I can't do it.
Patreon. If you guys like what you're doing, you're gonna love what we're doing on Patreon.
With the Patreon, you get exclusive behind-the-scenes content such as photos, videos, other things like that. Not to mention all of it is ad-free.
Yes, not just ad-free, you also get early and exclusive access to all our episodes before they are launched on YouTube. And not just that, we're also making special content for our Patreons who really love and support our journey here. So head on over to patreon.com/.
The Blended Couple.
Yes, and the link will be in the description below. And while you're at it, might as well give us a... Hello everyone and welcome to Blended. My name is Moin.
My name's Max.
And this is a podcast about blended families.
Blended
And
relationships, like culturally.
Yes. From couples from different backgrounds, and everything that comes with it. So welcome.
Welcome.
How was your week, babes?
Week was something.
Well, it's been a couple of weeks since we recorded.
Yes, it's been a hefty couple weeks. Mostly business related. With like staff turnover has been a lot. I'm really learning the meaning of you are as weak as your, what is it? You're only as strong as your weakest system. Yep, I think
You
that's
are
what it
the
is.
weakest link.
I was the weakest link this week. Well, maybe.
No, it's a line from a show.
I know. I know.
You're not the weakest link.
Oh, I know. I know it's from the show. Don't worry. I'm with you.
Great.
Anyways, the entrepreneurial saying of you're only as strong as your weakest system is true. I highly recommend having strong systems in place, which I found out very quickly that I did not for onboarding new staff. So that was super challenging. But we're coming to the end of a tough week and everything's kind of looking in better shape. So happy about that. Sorry if you hear squeaking. Our dog is playing with his toy in the background. How was your week? Work related, and then we'll go into other areas.
Work related.
You had a pretty big triumph last Friday. That was a big
What
deal.
was my triumph?
When you partnered with the local bank, and that was
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Fun thing to do with
Plus-
the community, meet the people in the neighborhood. And it was something I've never done before for my work, so it was very nice.
Yeah, but you're like building a new muscle or whatever.
Building a new muscle, so to speak.
Strengthening. Learning. I don't know. You know what I mean.
Yeah. And I'm a realtor. Max has a cleaning business, for those of you who do not know. And we got 2 kids, both girls, 7 and 8, and now 1 on the way. Which, speaking of, we have an ultrasound yesterday.
Yes, we should like insert the ultrasound photo for you.
Insert ultrasound photo.
Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do that. I got you.
So at 13,
Baby's super cute, and you can already see a little button nose, which is like the cutest thing of my whole life. But yeah.
So at 13 weeks, and we had we had a scan at
8 weeks and 8.5 weeks.
Almost 9 weeks. And there was some concern.
Yes, there was a subchorionic hemorrhage.
Yes.
So essentially, there was like a sack of blood between like the baby and the uterine wall, which scared the bejesus out of me. So that was fun. But I think we're in the clear.
Looks like it.
We'll find out from the ultrasound results, but she didn't mention anything, and this tech definitely said more than they typically do to me,
Right.
which I super appreciated, because she was like, "It's a perfect baby. Everything looks absolutely perfect. You don't need to worry." And I truly thank you to that ultrasound tech, because I was stressing. So that felt really good to hear that. It was like a huge amount of relief.
Very good. And you cried, as you've done.
I guess every single time.
With the heartbeat and the first ultrasound and the third ultrasound.
Yeah, second ultrasound.
Oh yeah, second
one with
ultrasound.
one
The
Doppler,
third
2 ultrasounds.
event.
I cried at all 3.
Yes. And then we had
Wait, no,
what?
but then the girls and you came in, and you could like literally see the baby like move. He like flipped to a
right.
different position, or her, we don't know, and put their hands like up by their head. It was so cool seeing like this tiny little baby move, like it, not just like a little twitchy twitch, which I kind of thought was the case at this point, but like a
Right.
full like flipped position and like reoriented.
Yeah.
Which was super, super cool. I was fascinated by that.
Yeah, you can see the arms and the
Yeah.
legs. Pretty cool to see, especially for the girls to be there and see it as well. They were pretty excited. And
I love having them a part of like the whole pregnancy journey.
yeah.
And being able to be a part of that is really, really cool.
Yeah, it would be nice to. It's nice to have them involved. And then it's something that I don't think they've ever waited for something this long. Maybe the iPad that they keep asking for,
which is never coming.
But it'll be like a delayed gratification learning muscle, which is kind of cool.
Yes, especially for Genevieve. I think that's. I mean, actually, I think that comes through more naturally, like it does for you. But Genevieve and I are like instant gratification type people. So I think for both of us, this is a really good exercise.
Yes, for you too.
Yes.
You want to speed up everything, but you can't speed this up.
No. Nature takes its time.
Nature takes its time. But speaking of, you're going to your mom's and Alan's cottage this weekend.
Yes, we're going to the cottage. You're staying home.
Staying home.
But the dog, Gigi, and I will go with a friend of ours and her kids. I wasn't even there last year. Like there have been many summers in the past where I just like didn't make it up, but I've had like the strongest pull to go. And I think that just like the pregnancy start was pretty rough, and I felt very disconnected from myself and from like, it's gonna sound a little like hooey, but like Mother Nature and just nature in general. And like I'm growing a human being, but it felt completely disconnected from like the beauty of that like innate and organic process. And I just feel like if I'm able to go spend some time in nature and reconnect with nature, with myself, it'll kind of help ground and recenter me in this whole experience, because it was a rough start between like how sick I was and just did not feel like myself. And that's starting to change, which is really nice. But I think it'll be a good experience to be back in nature.
Very good. And I'm excited for you to go and enjoy and relax and have fun after stressful days and weeks. And I'm happy to lay back at home.
Yeah, I'm sure. No dog, no kids, no wife bugging you.
Yeah.
I think you'll like it for 24 hours, and then you'll be like, okay,
I'll
where
enjoy
are
it
you guys?
for 24 hours, but it's also good for me. I think I'll have some work to do myself, reconnecting, and
I think we needed a reset. I think we've just been go for so long now that like, if you don't have that when we're together, I mean, it's beautiful and I love our time together, but I do see, as somebody who never liked being alone ever, that there is value in like taking a step back and kind of collecting ourselves and getting some perspective and grounding, and then coming back together.
Yep, I agree. Love makes the heart grow fonder.
Distance makes the heart grow fonder. You're close.
Love also
yes,
makes
it does.
Distance makes the heart grow fonder. Yes,
they both work.
They both work. Okay, and then we also want to talk about the midwife that we visited.
Yes. So we had
and
our
why
first.
we're going to the midwife versus whatever the other options.
So I've gotten some feedback from just people in my life recently who have been like, "Why?" Because let me backtrack here a little bit. So we have decided to go with midwifery care because where we live, you have the option. You see your like GP or your family doctor for the first 10 weeks of your pregnancy. They run blood work, schedule your first like dating ultrasound at 8 to 9 weeks, whatever. And then you have a choice. You can either go the obstetrician traditional medical route, or you can go the midwifery route, which is still heavily evidence-based and medically based. However, I do think the framework differs in a pretty substantial way where obstetrics, you're kind of just on a conveyor belt and at the whims of whoever your care provider or care provider team is. Whereas midwifery, it's very, it's education and consent based and female centric in the sense that like they'll present you with all the options, with all the stats, without fear mongering, and support you in making your own decisions about what's best for you, your family, your baby, your pregnancy, whatever, instead of just like scaring you into doing what the doctor feels is best for you, which we know that there's huge issues in the medical system regarding obstetrics and pregnancy and delivery in the States particularly and in Canada, but it's not as bad in Canada. So based on that, I went with midwifery care for my first child, loved it. And so I think you guys did midwifery as well with your child. Yep. Home birth. I also attempted a home birth and go quite plan. We can talk about birth stories later. It's actually an idea. But yeah, definitely excited to go with the midwifery route again. It's just an environment I feel safer in and more like I have a voice and like I'm an actual person and not just a vessel for the baby. And so we met our midwife. So you have a team of 2 midwives. So we met the first one. We'll meet the second one shortly. What were your impressions of the midwife? Please keep in mind that all of this is just our personal opinion, choices, whatever. Do not take any of this as like medical advice or anything like that.
Right.
Disclaimer.
Midwife was seemed good, seemed knowledgeable, answered all our questions, and was good at differentiating what happens here. We're in a different city now than where you were before. So that city is allowed.
The scope of what like midwifery care can provide is very different from region to region within the province even.
Yeah.
So that was really cool because in Halton, where we reside, the midwifery care has like a pretty like substantial and diverse scope of like services they can provide, ways that they can support you through birth. Like they can be in the hospital. If you transfer from home birth to hospital in Cambridge, where I was before, automatically an obstetrician takes over and your midwife is just kind of there in the background. Whereas here, even if you transfer, unless there's like a high risk emergent situation, they continue to be your care provider in hospital. They can order, if you choose to give birth in a hospital rather than home birth, they can still give you or order the epidural and pain relief and everything. Like they just have a lot more capabilities here, which was really cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I liked. It's not too far from here. They have plans and procedures in place, and yeah, pretty comfortable with it.
I really liked her. She seemed very much like on her shit, for lack of a better term. Like she seemed very sure and confident while also being gentle and kind. Like the right balance of like, you know, she's got everything under control, but can still be like gentle. I'm not good with like a brusque person. And I think she has like the right blend of like being really capable, but also able to like guide you through a vulnerable situation type thing.
Rectum window.
Did you have any concerns about the midwifery or anything like that?
No.
Are you worried at all about like home birth versus giving birth in the hospital? Do you have opinions on like, I get this question a lot when I tell people that I want to have a home birth and I'm choosing midwifery care, and they kind of look at me like I have 3 heads. They're worried that
Which is crazy because it's been midwives have been around for a long time.
Midwifery was like the primary from like the beginning of time essentially, and like the medical system, and that's a whole other thing that I won't get into, but essentially they kind of tried to take it over. And like I think there is a place for like the traditional medical system, obviously, in childbirth. If you're having like a high risk pregnancy, if there's complications, then all of those things, yes, of course, you would want access to that kind of care. However, for 90% of your routine births where everything is just kind of as Mother Nature intended, you like midwifery care is the way to go, and there's far less likely that you're going to have like interventions, an unwanted C-section, anything like that. So the risks are like very low, and all of the stats are in favor of having a better birth outcome.
Right. And they're more experienced with births, which is the main thing.
I mean, obstetricians, like that's their specialty, is with birth as well. It's just so medicalized so that you end up like, oh, like your labor isn't starting fast enough, or you're like 3 days overdue, so we're going to induce you, like, which then leads to a like onslaught of different interventions
Right.
that come. So
It's not very personal, and it's a very intimate experience. And so,
which our bodies are designed to do. And I think that when you come at that from a medical perspective, is that you're looking at all the ways that things can go wrong, and then you're so focused on mitigating risk that potentially isn't there in the first place, that you end up doing more than is necessary, which can impact that process, which like our bodies are innately intended to do. That's how we reproduce our species. Anyways,
right.
that's a bit of a tangent I've just gone off on, but
Yes.
I feel very passionately about it.
Very good. Anything else you want to touch on related to the birth before we hop off on different branches?
I'm scared to do the no medication at home. It's becoming like, as I'm getting further into this pregnancy, I'm remembering how rough, like how, not rough, but like how uncomfortable labor was. But like I know what I want the experience to be, and I know I want to be at home, but also will I be able to do it? Because I feel like I don't tolerate pain overly well.
You tolerate pain really, really well.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm
you
a
do.
baby.
No, you're not. You have a baby. It'll depend. I think it's a matter of getting there day by day, step by step, and doing all the things that they say mitigate all the things and help things flow better. And we'll see. There's nothing that if you end up taking pain medications or you don't, it doesn't say anything about you. It's just bottom line is you're healthy and the baby is healthy, and that's pretty much it. We had a day this week where we did a yes day for the kids.
Yes, the yes day.
The yes day.
A dopamine-fueled extravaganza.
A dopamine-fueled extravaganza. They've been asking me for a yes day for months, and I have promised them after school. Mm-hmm. And then now it's after school, and then they've been asking me for a long time. So I said yes with restrictions. For those of you know, there's a movie called Yes Day, which we haven't seen as a family, but I think they heard about from other classmates at their school.
It's on Netflix, so the kids have definitely seen it.
They haven't seen it with us.
Not with us, but they watched it.
They learned about the concept of the Yes Day. And so I promised them 10 things or 6 hours or whatever. And it was more activities and less like toys and stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
And so we did that on a Monday. Was it a Monday?
Yes, it was.
On a Monday, which we're blessed to be able to do that because we're both in business, and sometimes things are slow for one person, busy for the other person. So we sort of manage when there's no school, which we're doing this summer. There's no daycare or
camps
or whatever, so we're just taking turns.
That's a first for us.
Yeah. There's also an adjustment, but
I've actually like enjoyed it though. Like I haven't found it like to the point of like I need them to go back to school. Like it's been
right.
We're almost a month in now, and it's been fine.
Well, this week was tougher for me.
Yeah.
Because I had to do a lot of the kids' stuff.
Yes. This work was a shit show.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the yes day. I took them to the splash pad in the morning.
Picnic at the splash pad.
Picnic at the splash pad, which I got into the splash pad with them as well, which was quite fun and refreshing.
I love it.
And
I wasn't there for the first half of the day. I had to work.
They ate their food and they weren't going into the splash pad, which was kind of a bummer. And so I just sort of went in there and stood in the water and and then they sort of joined in, which was great. And then it started a whole thing of fun.
I love that you did that.
Yeah. And then we went home, got changed. I think we had a little snack. The next we went to the trampoline park, which they like completely redid.
Yeah, it was really cool from
Yeah.
the videos.
It was close to our house. They had a bunch of new things that were installed in there, which was a ton of fun. So we stayed in there for a few hours. We came back, we had lunch, and then you were back home by then.
Yeah, I
And then,
booked the tickets while you guys were at the jumping park for
Right.
the indoor skydiving, which was like the highlight of the day for sure.
yeah, indoor skydiving, which was a really, really big event and sort of the pinnacle of the entire day. All these activities took a few hours. So, yeah, I texted you saying if you're going to be home, let's book it for this time. So we booked it for these guys, and we promised Nisha, one of our daughters, to we'll get it for her birthdays.
So it's 2 for 1.
It was 2 for 1, and they're 7 and 8 now, and they're able to do like it's a giant fan in this chamber, and you get to float, and there's an instructor in there who holds you and guides you, so it mimics like falling, but you're sort of floating. So it's a ton of fun for the kids. I've done it myself a few years back, and both the kids did really well.
Yeah.
It was a ton of fun for them.
Yeah, they loved it.
Yeah, and they wanted to go again. So if any of you have ever done this,
Highly recommend.
yeah, it's really like a great experience for the kids, and they will enjoy it.
We'll plug in, like, we went to iFly Oakville.
We went to iFly Oakville,
And the instructor was like fantastic with the kids. He was really, really great. I was super impressed with that. Like, Amanisha was pretty nervous, and he got her in there. She was like up and running, and like within seconds, like Amanisha crushed it. She did so well. Having been like nervous about it, she's like, I don't, because it gives you 2 1-minute turns. And she's like, I only want to go once. And then she was in there for the second time, and like she loved it. He was great with her and guiding the kids and everything.
Yeah. And after, like, they give you like a whole flight suit and a helmet and goggles.
so cute.
Like we took pictures. It looked like little astronauts or
race car. It was either astronaut or race car
driver.
There, and there was like one-piece suits. So it was super cute.
Yeah. After that, we went had dinner, and we came back home.
Then we did a movie night.
Yes, we had a movie night. So girls like the idea of bringing their mattresses into our room, and then we have like 1 giant king-size mattress and 2 kids' mattresses, and they're all right next to each other, and then we pick a movie and watch the movie.
Yeah, we do the like family sleepovers periodically. I really enjoy them. I think they're super fun. I love having the girls close and stuff.
Yeah, they're fun. And so we watched a movie, and that was the end of the day. And so yeah, it was.
They were like so tired the next day. Like, they did not move.
Yeah.
Like, it was like I've never seen them like actually be tired like they were that day. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was a jam-packed day. I was tired after the skydiving. Yeah, it was a really fun day. We did tell them that, you know, this is like a rare thing that happens.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And so, because Genevieve, who also has ADHD, she likes, like, whenever we do an activity and then we're like, okay, what are we going to do next? Which I'm sure a lot of kids do.
Yeah, but she's like there can't just be like one activity and then relaxing. Like, she wants one activity after another after, like, she wants like scheduled fun back to back to back.
Right.
And so this was like the best day of her life, because it was literally an activity after the other.
Both the kids said that it was like the best day of their lives, which was awesome. That was the goal.
Yeah.
And we were able to give that.
We're very lucky to be able to do that.
Very lucky and grateful to really do that together as a family. And we were still able to work. Next day I went to work. You were home.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're all very tired.
So it was very tiring. That's pretty much it. We had a little bit of a fight this week, and it was about the podcast. And I envision us doing like an episode every week.
That is the goal. Like, for both of us, that is the goal.
For both of us, that is the goal.
He's the driver. Like, he does all the editing. He does most of like the conception of like, okay, this is what we're going to talk about. For the most part, I literally just have to show up, which I'm very grateful for, because
which is what I want. But I also have to take into account that you're running a business, we're home with the kids, there's things going on with your body's changing, there's like a ton of stuff going on. And so one is like we initially never scheduled a day that we're gonna do the podcast. We were just like, okay, let's do it this day. It's like on the bounds. So I wanted to have like a fixed day that we're like, okay, this is the day, and we take out an hour and then we're gonna record it. But things kept getting in the way. I think this is like the first one we're recording, or 2 weeks. Like
We've missed several weeks.
we've missed a couple of weeks, which is
I find my business is very unpredictable. And
It
so we can make a plan. Okay, Wednesday morning we'll do it. But my business is super unpredictable. So I may need to be out of the house suddenly if something goes awry or whatever.
right. May I finish first?
Sorry, yes.
Okay. So the plan was always to have some room for wiggle room. That's why they're not posted until we have like a few episodes done in a row. That was considered, but then I noticed that the more we were missing, like I was fine initially, but then it was just feeling, I felt like hurt, and that it wasn't being prioritized. And then we had a big talk it out about that. And yeah, for me, it's also like a time that we're getting to spend together, and it's almost like a date.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about our week, we're connecting and about our feelings and all that stuff. So it was like being stood up on a date a few weeks in a row. So I was like, okay. So anyway, that after I explained that to you, you understood where I was coming from also, and then you also told me where you were coming from. And yeah, now we're finally recording.
Yeah.
We'll hopefully
we're back.
Post. Okay. You had something to say.
Remember now. Okay. Anyways, yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I feel spread pretty thin.
It's hard, man. Kids are home. We have businesses, and we're doing this thing as a project.
And it is a priority. I just felt like I was doing my best, and there was a lot of pressure. But then once you explained to me that it's not like just about making the podcast, it was like our time together, it completely shifted how I was receiving that message from you.
Right. And I had like a slow work week, so I was frustrated anyway, because we had people over and other kids over, so there was like 2 or 3 days where I was just like there were 4 kids or 2 kids, and then couldn't really focus, or even if I had time after like a couple of 2 or more hours, I just couldn't get things done. So it was just very frustrating for me.
Well, it's hard when there's like a lot of people in the house because you're overstimulated, and then trying to switch into work mode, which like coming from an overstimulated state into trying to go into a grounded and productive state is very, very difficult. Okay. Like once I've hit that like overstimulated, dysregulated place, the rest of my day is shot. Like I'm just working on trying to get myself regulated again. The reality of me going and doing any like productive work or anything is very, very low once I've hit that overstimulated and dysregulated state. So I'm assuming yours is probably very similar, and it was overstimulation for most of this week.
Right. But again, the lesson in that was also that I don't know, we do this nightly book thing. It's called the Pivot Year. Mm-hmm. And it has codes for each day, which we read towards the end of each day. And then one of the things was, I can't remember exactly, but I would have to put it somewhere. But it's like, you are where you're meant to be right now, and it's not the full picture, but it's taking you to the full picture.
Yeah, you're on the right path, essentially, even if it all seems meaningless and abstract, and these like little moments that don't make sense. Eventually, in the big picture, it all will make sense, and it's brought you down the path that you're meant to be on, towards the goal you're meant to pursue.
Exactly. And so that was a lesson from it. And yeah, so you're about to go soon on your trip. Yep. What is the time?
I can't read that from here.
It's fine. Yeah, anything else you want to touch on? I guess we did say in one of the episodes we're going to talk about ADHD and kids with ADHD, which
3 out of 4 of our current family members have ADHD.
Right. So we might
2 medicated now, 1 unmedicated.
Right. Because of the pregnancy.
Yes.
Right. Wish that the midwife did suggest something that you could take your pills but there's not a lot of studies on it. They've done studies
And
on
it's
mice,
like,
which is not
yeah.
right.
They can't ethically study pregnant women in stimulants,
Right.
for obvious reasons. So there's very little data that we can go off of as to like assess the risk. So I'm not even taking Advil or Tylenol, even though I know realistically I can probably take a Tylenol with a headache. Even then, like I get nervous, but I haven't taken a single.
They have weird
thing.
windows, she said, for Tylenol or Advil. There's one of them you can take, which has risks. The other one doesn't.
Advil has risks up until viability week. So I think that's week 24 to 26. So what happens is if you take an Advil, I'm like quoting from what I remember her saying, but which I had never known. I just thought you're not supposed to take Advil, but it's because if you take Advil and the baby's born within 24 hours of the Advil being in your system, there's a hole in their heart that closes as soon as they're born or whatever in the birth process that won't close if you've had Advil. So as soon as if you deliver and the baby would be viable, you're not supposed to take Advil from that point forward. I don't know, man. I just like the only thing I take is my prenatals at this point. Also, I really like my prenatals. They're by Bird and Bee. This is not sponsored. I just really like them. And if you're pregnant, highly recommend looking into Bird and Bee, because it's a high quality supplement with like everything you could possibly need, and it's lower cost and it's like delivered automatically. So good for me because I forget to order. But everything you could possibly need for lower cost and buying them all individually at the same quality level. So I take the prenatal and then I take a booster with magnesium, vitamin D, and calcium. Definitely take them with food because, oh my God, it's rough on the stomach even with food, but any of the prenatals are because of the iron and stuff. But I highly recommend Bird and Bee. They're fantastic.
Right. So we'll do, I guess, a full episode about ADHD and our experience with it.
Probably be like multiple episodes over the course of us doing this podcast, but it's a pretty substantial part of our life, I would say.
It is. It is a pretty substantial part of our life, and I'm sure it is a part of a lot of people's lives, and we want to just shed our experience with it and see how people can relate, and maybe people will say something back. Yeah, so that's really it for this week's episode. This is
more of a check-in episode, I guess.
More of a check-in episode. I don't have my usual notepad, which I don't really have a lot of notes. I just scribble most of the time when you're talking.
I just wing it.
Yeah. And yeah, thank you for staying and watching until this end, and welcome to Blended. Welcome to this blended family. What's our catchphrase?
Get blended. Just kidding. I don't know. I'm kidding.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Right. Thank you. Bye. Yes. High five. Yeah. Here. High five. Okay, cool. See you later. Bye. See you next week.
Bye. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, buddy. Good boy.